Hello, I'm Otto, and welcome back to Dyson Sphere program. So in the last episode, we finally got to place our dark fog farming blueprint and started working on the dark fog, obviously. We are currently level 7, and it'll be a couple of levels before we can start to get some extra stuff. We are collecting some of the energy shards. Very soon, we're going to start getting the matrices, and I did add in the storage. This is not included in the blueprint, and that's largely because this is really based on whichever direction you end up having the dark fog. This is maybe a little too close to the dark fog bases, but you know what, that's fine. It'll be a little bit slower than it could be, but it is not a big deal. I also added in some of the logistic spots on the Babs to request in, or to collect the turbines, the supermagnetic rings, and the particle containers. And this will almost certainly change over time. It'll be a couple, I think level 9 we start to get the turbines, so that will be something that'll start popping in soon. So in this episode, there's a couple of things that I wanted to do real quick before we take off, and one of those is I highly recommend muting all of these on your dark fog farming planet. And the reason why is we really don't want this alarm going off like non-stop, because after about 20 hours of listening to that, it'll just get to the point where you just don't hear it anymore or don't look at it anymore. So next thing you know, you're going to be attacked somewhere that's important, that is not a combat zone, and that is just something you don't want to get used to. Also, I'm going to rename this planet to Combat 1. That way I 100% know that I don't have to worry about this place at all, this planet. And if I look up and see that somewhere is being attacked, I can determine whether or not on the fly that is, like, whether or not it's important. Okay, so we are going to go to another planet to tap some resources. The reason why I am recording this and wanted to show you is because there's going to be a few things that we need to do. We're going to be making another, I guess, a kind of little blueprint. It's just a small little thing that I like to do. That way we don't have to worry too much about the dark fog on any of the other planets. So I did order in some water pumps because I completely forgot to grab some. We will need the water pumps for the sulfuric acid, and that is actually the only resource that we have that is somewhat valuable in this star system. So we're going to head to Sadalbari 2, and thankfully the travel time between these is now significantly smaller since we can use warpers. This would normally take us maybe like a minute or two, but now, as you can see, it is only going to take about less than 10 seconds, maybe about 5 seconds. And there we go, we have arrived. Okay, so as you can see, we do have a couple of bases, a couple of dark fog bases on this planet, and I'm just going to aim somewhere in the middle. And we are chasing these sulfuric acid pools. So as you can see, this is a nice large pool of sulfuric acid, so this is probably a good spot. Let's hit Control C and take a look. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with a central place somewhere over here. Let's actually, I kind of want to set this blueprint up somewhere near the equator. Yeah, so somewhere like right here is probably fine. Okay, so what do we need? Well, first off, we're going to need to request in some items. We're going to need power, and we're going to need something to deal damage to the dark fog. So this is going to be a little bit different. We're not actually farming the dark fog. We actually want to annihilate them. So there's a few different things that you can do. You can either completely ignore the ones that are on the planets. I personally recommend wiping them off the planet. And we're going to be requesting in, well, we need power. So let's bring in some of this. We're going to need something to kill the dark fog or damage them. So this is going to be missile sets. And I'm going to request in a decently high amount. And then we need warpers, like if we want to send something back. Definitely want to bring some of those, and local provide. I don't think that we will need logistics drones at all. Anyway, so while that stuff is heading our way, what we're going to do is we're going to set up some power first. And that's going to be this. We're just going to go out just a little bit. We don't need much. So I'm going to place, let's just do like 9. That should be plenty. Once we wipe the dark fog off, we can also add some of the geothermal power stations, which will give us another, let's see, there's what, 3 here, so that's another like 45 megawatts. Okay, and then we're going to be largely using the missile turrets. So one advantage to using the missile turrets is they have the farthest reach of any of the items, largely due to the signal tower. So we're going to be using these, and from there we can actually wipe out the dark fog bases, and then it will then afterwards it will protect us from any space invasion. So let's add in a line. We're going to go in the first slot and request in missile turrets, and we're going to go maybe 5 hardline squares out. And then I'm going to get this right up next to the ILS and just drag this down. Yeah, there's a little bit of extra. That's not a big deal. No thanks. I did not ask for you guys to come out. Oh, while we're here, we might as well add in some upgrades. So let's get the enhanced structure. This is going to go by pretty fast. We can get, I think, 4 of them. Yeah, we can get 4, so that's an extra 16% health for our signal towers and or other things that might be attacked. Extra speed, yes please. Alright, that's good enough for now.
Upgrade.
Like I said, very fast for the first couple. Okay, so let's just drag these all the way through. I'm only going to do 2 rows of, what is that, 8? This one is going to be the missile sets.
Upgrade.
And then the last one over here, missile sets. And just to make sure that we can stay protected in case there's a hive invasion, let's just go ahead and add a planetary shield generator there. We need some power connected to this, and then in between these we can just flop one down every other. That should cover all of our turrets. Alright, so now we just need to activate them. Alright, as you can see, the missile turrets are already having their way with the nearby dark fog base. And let's get out our signal towers, because we can actually use the signal towers to extend the range of the missiles. So once we place this, you're going to see the other ones pop up and start attacking. Once the bar turns red, that basically means that the missile is in the air and it has already allocated the damage. So let's get a little bit closer. And we can always help out, but I'm gonna stay back because I would rather not die while I'm recording. That would be embarrassing. And we can get rid of the relay station with the geothermal power plant. So I'm not going to leave the signal towers down. You very well could. But before we do anything else, I did kind of want to show how the range got, like how the range gets increased. So this is not typically how I would do this. I would drag some power poles out, but I guess I could. Anyways, I just wanted to show you that the signal tower doesn't actually have to be connected to any of the network for the missiles to have an extended range. So I'm just going to drop one of these. And then with the signal tower, are you on? Oh, it's just not, there's nothing there. Okay. And here we go. think that covered... No, it doesn't. Alright, so let's get that one to cover everything else. And bye-bye relay station. Alright, we might as well get the last one. Okay. We'll just go ahead and do that real quick. Obviously, it is not that time consuming. And thankfully our signal turrets, our signal towers are pretty beefy, so they can take the damage and then our personal bots will end up repairing them. And even then, worst case scenario, if you're just absolutely losing these, you could drop a BAB next to whichever one you had that was kind of nearby. Okay, and the dark fog has now been cleared from the planet. So another thing is that the missile turrets will attack anything in space that comes nearby. So if we did get attacked by the hive, the missile turrets will take care of the attack, and the shield generator is just there to make sure that we're not going to take any excess damage. Also, if they try to bring another relay station down here, these will actually destroy the relay station. And normally you wouldn't want to attack the relay stations because it just gives excess threat to the hive, which would be the upper air. But while if these kill the relay station in space, which is what they will do, they will attack it in space, it doesn't give any excess threat. It might give a little, I think it gives a little bit, like just whatever typical amount it gives for destroying something, but yeah, it is not going to be like a completely threatening, like it's not going to give us like that 20% or whatever it is. Okay, so that is literally all we're going to need for pretty much every single mining outpost. We're just going to drop one of these, and that will protect the planet from assault. Maybe there's a chance that something gets through. I don't really know. It's not really that big of a deal. But yeah, now we can just go ahead and tap our... What do I need? Mining. Tap our sulfuric acid, and we are good to go. Alright, now we have a much better source of sulfuric acid. We no longer have to rely on the refined oil, so this will help to, one, get rid of the sulfuric acid build that we have on our planet, and two, we could also remove some of the oil refining builds. We're going to tap a little bit more, so I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more of these to the planet, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I did add in some more sulfuric acid, but before I take off onto another planet, I did kind of want to just show, like, what am I looking for? So we are definitely looking to head back towards our area, and I'm probably going to stop by Acubens and grab some organic crystals and stalagmite crystals. I think these just have one patch each, so it's not like I'm going to be tapping too much. We're also looking for some grading crystals. The grading crystals are something that we're going to use for the advanced miner coming up soon. The fractal silicon creates the crystallized silicon for... It's just a little bit better than actually using the silicon because the silicon is pretty valuable, at least this early in the game. The kimberlite ore is a better way of making diamonds. It makes 2 at a time instead of 1 at a time, and we also don't have to use our coal. The coal can then be used largely for the proliferators. And what is the other one? We do not have access to this one from here, and this one I'm not too concerned with. Okay, so I'm going to head to probably... I'm going to go to both of them. So I'm going to head to Acubens first, and then set up the grading crystals. No, sorry, the organic crystals, the stalagmite crystals. And then when we get back, we're going to just start laying down a couple more blueprints, some of which we have, some of which we might need to make. And yeah, so I'll see you when we get back to our planet. Okay, so we have arrived back on our home planet, and yeah, we are very quickly running out of space. So we have a couple spots here. We have basically a whole half a planet, but we're gonna have to remove or bury some of this stuff. But for now, that's okay. We're almost out of copper here. There's a couple of coal patches over here. What was that one? Copper. Coal patch that's... Oh, there's one that got missed? No way, dude. Yeah, so we can remove some of these, or wait, it doesn't really matter. Hello. Yeah, but anyways, so we did in the last episode, we did unlock some of these items. So we have high strength glass, which is just going to reuse the 3-ingredient assembling machine build that we have previously gone over. The casimir crystals, same thing, 3 assembling machine build. The wave plane filter, which is a 2-ingredient build, and the quantum chips, which is a 2-ingredient build. And at that point, we will then be able to make the assembling machine 3s. So I'm not going to do the other builds, and as a matter of fact, I actually did already create them. So I did add titanium glass, casimir crystal, plane filter, and quantum chips. So we can go ahead and place these. If you don't have, if you are just kind of following along, then yeah, it's just take one of the older builds and convert them. Easy enough. But obviously we don't have enough of those. Anyways, let's add in the assembling machine Mark III. Where am I? It's over here somewhere. Also, it took me quite a bit of time to tap some of the resources on the other planets. I did get the grading crystals, the stalagmite crystals, the organic crystals, casimir crystals, and the silicon. What is that one? The what is it called? This fractal silicon. Jeez. That is not what I wanted. There we go. All right. Yeah, so now we just need the quantum chips. Okay, so I went and tapped all of those resources, and the most important one, in my opinion, was the grading crystals, because the grading crystals we need for this guy right here, the advanced mining machine. So we are very close to getting the gravity matrix, the green science, and we are going to be placing the quantum chips in between this episode and the next episode. And then yeah, we pretty much already have green science set up, so then we can use this and it'll make mining way easier. The advanced miner is so much better than having to tediously set up the different mining machines, although you can still use the mining machines. Oh, and I also mentioned that the relay station should actually be killed, and I was totally wrong with that. Where is this one going? Oh, and we're too far away for me to even see it. Alright, well, I did end up placing some of the signal towers kind of in the area of the important stuff that I had. So some of the mining machines, I put a signal tower near those. So even if a relay station does actually get through, I am fully prepared for the them to be attacked. And if we did get attacked by one of those, it would pop up here. Since we have the combat area muted, it won't be that big of a deal. All right, so that's going to be it for me for this episode. I'm going to go ahead and place down the 4 builds, the 2 assembling machine, the reused 2 assembling machine builds or 2 ingredient builds, and the reused 3 ingredient builds. And that's some people think that that's the good part about Dyson Sphere program, is that like once you make a lot of these builds, you can just slam them down and you're good to go. You don't really have to reinvent the wheel every time you make a new build, but some people find it a little boring. Me personally, I don't really care one way or another. But yeah, so there's a few things we're going to be doing in the next episode. We're going to be working towards green science, but we're also going to be doing a little bit of reorganizing in the base, not that much. Just a couple things that have now become obsolete now that we have sulfuric acid, the kimberlite ore, fractal, silicon, stuff like that. Okay, so that is it for me. I will see you in the next episode, and thanks for watching.